Give it a second. Okay, we're live. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Once again, usual shenanigans with setup. And this is the February 2022 Chicago TI Users Group meeting. Once again, online and streaming on YouTube. So I guess Vic is going to have a presentation for us, and some of the usual folk can't join us today. Other factors are involved, I guess, and it'll be just myself, Jim, and Vic.
Well, we're not going to be on Skype on Halmar 2.
Yeah, so ignore the Skype info, unless you want to talk to Hal if he's got it on.
So, well, we got a whole bunch of new software over the past month, and one of the exciting things was what's called the GEM project, which means Graphics Environment Manager. And this is a binary file or a cartridge you can get from Arcade Shopper that has options J through P here, J being K through P. T40XB, T80, the missing link, graphic adventure, XB28 and XXB, and XB256. So we'll just select one of these, and the light on the Finalgram blinks like 5 or 6 times. It's a slow load because it's loading up every gram in the Finalgram bank, and it says XB256. And here, if then we quit and we go back to the menu, here it shows what our options are. Extended
Hey,
basic.
Vic, would you like to talk for a moment about what actually GEM is, what GEM stands for, what it is? I can probably elaborate a little further.
GEM, the letters GEM, is an acronym for Graphics Environment Manager. And the crew over at CTIUG have been working for about 2 years on this project, combining all these different programs into one GROM file that you could run on a Finalgram, or one cartridge that you could plug into your TI. The most popular one that they're working on is this XB256, because it lets you demonstrate. I have the program I copied. Lets you demonstrate the different advantages.
This is a implementation of the GEM system that was sort of a graphical user interface based operating system that was used for a while on the Atari. I think it may have run on the Atari 8-bits, but I think it was more popular on the later 16-bit machines, the ST. But I could be wrong there. Would be interesting to see it running on the TI.
So I'm going to select option 4 for XB256. And it looks in disk drive 1 for a file named load, unless you hold any key down, and then it'll skip that. Okay, we're in the XB256 environment now. So and I have this GEM demo. I'll list it for you. Now I copied this right out of CTIUG. So this is all the commands they had, and all the statements. So it's not very long, is it? We'll run it now. So we're in Extended Basic. Now we're in XB256. So XB256 gives you, instead of 128 graphics characters, it gives you 256 graphics characters. Now you're in XB40 mode, or 40 column text, 80 column text if you got an 80 column device. And it can also demonstrate the missing link. Here it goes from text mode to the graphics mode, drawing this triangle, and then deleting it. And this program loops over again. Here we are back in XB256. So you got some artifacts there at the top there because those are redefined graphics.
So the fact that it's using the missing link, is that possibly an indicator that the gem front end might be calling missing link graphic routines to put pixels on the display?
Yes. Here, when the missing link is done demonstrating, I'll break the program. Because if I do it during missing link's graphics mode,
You won't
it
get
will,
your command
you
back.
won't be able to see anything. Okay, now we're back again. So I'll list this program here. So it starts out print in TI Extended Basic, a timer. Timer interval is 1 to 500 next I. Here's the statement. Call XB256 screen 1. And or call XB256 mode 1. Now it says call link screen 2. Well, in XB256, you can be in screen 1, which is black on cyan, the regular TI screen. Or if you call screen 2, you're white on dark blue.
So is the call link function, is that actually calling a missing link function?
No,
as
that's an
opposed to
XB256. We haven't gotten down to the missing link net. So then it says running an XB256, another timer. They have long timers in the original program. I shortened them up quite a bit. Okay, print character string I, next I, for I equals 1 to 500, next I. Okay, now you're calling T40XB, screen 2, which is the 40 column text editor. So instead of just 32, you saw you had 40 column there. And now you call link T40. These call links are built into the cartridge. You don't have to load a separate disk file. It doesn't look at disk 1 for anything here. It's in the cartridge. This is amazing.
Yeah, but what is the origin of the link function? Is that a XB256 function, or is that a missing link function?
We're still in XB256.
What is that?
We are still in XB256.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you call a function, doesn't necessarily mean you are calling a function in the same, because you can have multiple cartridge ROMs mapped in. And I'm wondering if,
as far as I know, because
I'm actually calling missing link functions and initializing the display.
I just happen to have the missing link documents for this new version of the missing link XB version 2.8 GEM. Bitmap graphics for extended basic by Harry Wilhelm. And this is the printed out manual, and it has all the statements and everything that the missing link runs. Now, since missing link is bitmapped, it's got its own fonts and everything it uses, because the whole screen is like a TI artist screen.
Right, but what I'm saying though is there is a programming interface to that. That was the whole point of the missing link, was to provide you graphical functions beyond what was typically available within basic or extended basic.
Yeah,
but
as far as I can tell, this program is currently in XB256.
But I'm wondering if it's doing a hybrid calling method that essentially...
No, I can't access T40XB from the missing link. And I can't do a call link T40 in the missing link if I selected the missing link from the menu. This is a separate command.
Okay.
As far as I can tell. So next I, okay, I equals 1 to 500, next I, that's another timer. Okay, now it's calling the 80 column extended basic in the XB256 environment and calling T80. I equals 1 to 24, calling print II. This is running T80XB mode. Next I, another timer. Okay, here's call TML. Now the cartridge is switched over to the missing link, and it's going to use all the missing link commands for graphics, fonts, where and how to display text, etc. So calling print, and it says You're starting at row 83, column 111, print the word the. Then calling print row 93, column 99, missing. You know, it's a lower number than 111 because the word missing is bigger than the word the, and they want to center it. And then we have line 320, calling print 103, 108, link. And then you go calling PR, I equals 1 to 2. Okay, calling put pen at the location row 96, column 120, 0. For j equals 1 to 80, calling forward, next j, next I. So that calling graphics, okay, that's a command I put in there. That takes us back into the extended basic graphic mode from the missing link. And then go to 90. So if we run this again, here's our demonstration. Yeah, you get some artifacts there at the top of the screen. And here you got XB256 showing you the 256 characters you can define for your extended basic. Here it's calling the XB40 mode, and here's the 80 column mode. And here it's drawn the words the missing link, and it starts drawing the overlapping triangles from the center to the outwards. When it gets done here, it'll do call link graphics and go back to line 90 and run it over again. So for me, this gem project is great. I've loved the missing link for a long time, but the biggest problem you ever had with it is it's an extended basic file with embedded assembly that sits on your disk drive. Or you can put it on a cassette, and you always had to load the missing link manually, and then you had to load whatever missing link program it was that you wanted to run. As an example, let's get back in extended basic here. Okay. Butterfingers. Yeah, so in XB256 or the missing link or whatever, you could switch from one mode to another, although the missing link is pretty comprehensive. And you can make windows, you can put text in a window, outside a window, you can put graphics inside the window or outside the window. We're back here at our menu here for gem, and you see if I wanted to select T40 by itself or T80, you got to have an F18 or something for that, or the missing link. So here, let's load the missing link directly from cartridge. And in the missing link, because memory's tight, it asks you how many colors you're going to use. So we're going to use 16 colors, and we're going to use one disk file. Okay, now we're in the missing link environment. So let me check my notes here. Okay, here's a short program. I called gem the missing link. Call link graphics, print we're now in the standard graphics mode used by XP. And then line 130, enter the angle, call link bitmap. Now we go into bitmap mode from graphics mode. Calling put pen. Again, we're putting the pen in line 150 at row 92, column 120, 0. And for I equals 1 to 120, calling forward, we're using internal graphics here, I and the angle you selected, next I, call wait. Wait a minute, we didn't have to put in a interval equals, 1 to 200 or 1 to 300. The missing link has a time delay built into it with this line 190, the call wait statement. Then you do call link clear, not call clear, but clear. Go to 100. And what does line 100 do? It puts us into call link graphics mode. So we're alternating in this program between graphics mode to display the text on the screen and bitmap mode where the whole screen is an image. And I'll tell it to run. We are now in the standard graphics mode normally used by XP. Enter an angle to be used in drawing a poly spiral. Okay, James? Oh, well, I'll select like 90 degrees. And starting at 0, it goes 1 pixel long, 2 pixels long, in a longer and longer lines, and it draws a spiral. Okay. Now it went back into from bitmap mode to graphics mode. And see if I tell it to draw 99 degrees. Oh, now you get one of these, the usual interesting polygon spirals. Or a smaller interval than 90. So you could just type in numbers and get different angles and get different drawings. So I'm going to break this program. And the only difference in this program is line 160 for I equals 1 to 130. I'm going to use a longer line to make a slightly bigger character.
Yeah, so far this looks like largely just calling missing link functionality from within XP256, not so much what I would traditionally think is the gem environment. So maybe they're still putting together features and getting things to that point.
Yeah, I am ignorant of what.
That the original gem, I guess, is born out of actual CPM development, not just simply Atari.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Hal has a copy of Extended Basic version 2.8. I don't know what that does. Or Extended Basic 2.8 plus XXB. These guys talk about stuff that's way over my head, but boy, when they say, well, here's a basic program that demonstrates something, boy, I can type that in and I can run it and play with it. Let's get into the missing link again. Wrong disk. I got something else in disk 1. Okay, so before I run it here, we have line 160 for I equals 1 to 130. I'm going to make it 10 to 130 and run that. So see, it doesn't start right in the middle with a line of 1 pixel long. It starts with the minimum of a line 10 pixels long. So in some of the drawings, you don't get quite a cluttered center part of the drawing. Now 120 will draw a pure triangle. But see, it's starting with a hollow center now, not a solid center. And of course, you get these artifacts drawing on the screen. You know, when the math shows, the math figures out, is that a light or a dark pixel? Let's try 122. There you go. They call these polyspirals. Okay, I'm going to function 4, break the program. Now I'm going to list this program, and you're going to see an unusual artifact that I hope this only happens on my machine because I have a bad VDP memory or I got a bad final GROM. So if I go to list a program that I have run already in this environment, I get this. For the first time I list it. Now if I list it again, it comes out fine. So I don't know what that artifact is where it's showing something in memory that is confusing. So in the old days, this is what you had to do. You had to do an old disk 1 or disk 2 TML. Okay. We would load the missing link program, tell it to run. Okay, now we're in the old disk operating system of the missing link. We're not running in the gem environment. So MyArt controller, no, not on this system. We got one disk file and one for 16 colors. Another difference between the missing link and between the gem environment, I wish I could have typed up a demo for you, although I did see it on Pixelpeden's demonstration of this, is you have 60 fonts in XP256 and in the missing link to work with. And they don't have to be on the disk. They're in the cartridge already. And it's like a call font 1 through call font 60, depending on which one you want. Okay, we got an incompatibility problem here. So let's get into a different operating system. I think it's getting confused between the missing link built in and the missing link disk system. So let's go to H, our old friend Rich Extended Basic. Do a directory of disk 2. Oh, okay. This is nice. All right. Shut everything down. It's not TI demo. Okay, let's go to RXB. We'll try loading the missing link with, without the gem project. So it loads pretty quick. It's not a big file. Okay, so we've set up our environment. This is the default missing link environment. You notice the cursor is now a blank state of Texas. So we tell it the missing link demo is pretty comprehensive. We've demonstrated it before at the Chicago user group. Ah, nuts. Well, this demo is going to crash because in it, it looks at disk 1 for files, like for fonts and for pictures and stuff like that. So we'll only be able to do some of the demonstration here. Or maybe not. Because I don't have a blinking light on my
Oh well.
call EA directory disk 2, and okay, it says there's nothing there, so I'll shut everything off, let it sit for a moment. There it goes. All right. Well, if the directory works, it should work now. Maybe there was just a poor connection there. So the missing link, press the space bar to load extended basic from RXP. There it goes. Meyer controller, no Meyer controller. 1 disk file, and 1 for 16 colors. Okay. I'm not getting a flashing light. I don't know. It's supposed to be loading it. It is a big program. It might take it a few moments here. But the missing link demo is pretty comprehensive because it changes the colors of the screen. It draws boxes. It puts text in the boxes and gives you a menu. Give this another moment or two. Oh, well, I must have touched something on it because it doesn't look like it's loading.
No love, huh?
No. Oh, well. Well, we'll go to disk number 1. And it can't find disk number 1. Okay. We're going to have to unplug the speech synthesizer, plug it back in, unplug the Nano, plug it back in, turn on the Nano, turn on the TI. The dark blue screen is an artifact of the VGA to USB adapter I have for the, okay. Okay, the red button resets the final gram. The final gram up here. Do D for directory, disk 1. The past few months we've been running through Bob Pellegrino's adventure games, and we've been running through the Mentor Fun Pack to where we went through a bunch of stuff. So today we're going to go down to 3 programs here: the music editor and music if it's saved on cassette, or music if it's saved on disk. These 2 programs, by default, without telling you, when you say you want to load or save a file, it looks for a file named save on disk 1 if you're using music disk. If you're using music cache and you say you want to save or load a file, it tells you the old CS1 program, rewind, tape, and press enter. So, but we're going to play with music disk. There we go. So here's Music Maker by Bob Telegram. And you have F to save or load. T editing options here for time delay, asterisk, delay on and off, K for keyboard, exclamation point, erase all, C to copy, S for new step, A to alter a step, E to delete a step, I to insert a step, slash to play a song, R to play, repeat, equal sign, play from, D to display, Z to display from, L to list, and X to list from. So we're going to press F to save and load. Now you have the option, do you want to save your music? Do you want to load it? Or do you want to exit? Notice it says the last written step, we haven't done anything. So we're going to press L to load it, and then enter. And it's looking for a file called save on disk 1, but it doesn't tell you that. Now, I don't think there's any docs that on the disk that tell you how to use this. So anyway, at the bottom of the screen, we have last written step equals number 5. So let's listen to what this says. We'll press the slash button here. Is this a hack or a slash? From the bottom left to the upper right.
I'm not sure what you're asking.
I know
me.
there's a slash and a backslash.
Yeah.
Like the Z has a
That looks like a slash.
slash. I want to use the correct terminology.
All right. Slash, backslash. Backslash is the DOS thing.
Yeah. Okay, so that plays the Close Encounters theme. I'll play it again. Well, quite a lot of distortion there out of my little Radio Shack amplified speaker that I use because this that's how we get sound out of it. So okay, so if we want to look at what we've got here, let's do a D to display. Okay, and there you are. If you wanted to put this in a program, duration of 1000, you're using at step 1, frequency 262, a volume of 0. Then another note, duration of 1000 at step 2, frequency 392, a volume of 0. Step 3, duration of 1400, frequency 523, volume of 0. Now it gets interesting, playing chords, because you can with the TIU with 3 voices. Duration of 300, first frequency is 131, a volume 1 is 5. 196, volume 2 is 5, and frequency 3 of 330 is 5. Then down to duration of 2000, it's step 5, duration of 2000, 131, 196, but your third is 311. You can press M to go back to menu, and okay, so that sounded pretty erratic, but that's because the TI was also displaying each line as if it was in a TI program. So step 1, call sound 1000, 0. Step 2, step 3, step 4, okay. Step 4, you've got chords, 300, 131, 300, 196, and 330. No, not 300. That's duration. Frequency 131, 196, and 330. And then the end of the song. So this is a cool little program that lets you this is a cool little program that lets you program in music and then would actually give you the actual statements you would use in an XP program. So I haven't worked with it that much, but I guess these are your programming commands. And then you have your half notes. We get back to the menu. Okay, so that's it for Music Maker. Again, that was on the Mentor Fun Pack disc that we've been demonstrating over the past few months. Blue button resets the console. Red button. Oh, okay, we're in Gem again. All right. I really did want to get that missing link demo if I can do it. Nothing like practicing all week on doing something and then showtime comes.
Yeah, well, once again, TI demo time, right? Or any demo time. Basically, Murphy will get you every time.
I remember there was a legend on taking questions from the audience. And what that involved was people would ask strange questions like, what happens if you press function H? And the I forget who the demonstrator was, but the legend goes, function H, I never thought about doing that. And he'd do it, and it would lock up his computer so bad, he'd have to turn the computer off and the P box off and take all the cards out of the P box and shake them and put them back in.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Yeah. Well, late Bruce Harrison, because of his full-time job, was a master at error trapping. He wrote many articles in Micropendium magazine called The Art of Assembly. He also co-authored with Mike McSimic the MIDI master and MIDI album programs for playing MIDI on the TI. He had that fun game Scud Busters during the first Gulf War, to where you manually controlled the Patriot missile system that uses a Texas Instruments double precision math chip in it for accuracy, and yeah, to knock them scuds out of the sky. Okay, there's this chip, this memory has sneezed. So we're going to load something else here. Let me look at my notes here. Um, Hang on, I'm sorry here.
It's the restart demo.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I forgot about that. Cortex Basic, PAL EA5 PR editor. Okay, we're going to remove the virtual disk from virtual drive 1 on the Nano. Quit. And we're going to select select the RXB again. And here's one of my favorite adventure programs by Quentin Terminen called The Living Tomb. Now, Quentin designed this to be a pseudo 3D perspective adventure game. Right now it's in demo mode. You're going rather quickly through the maze. And in this, you're going to want to use your graph paper and your map making skills to draw out where you're at. The maze is always the same, or rather maze, the labyrinth, the tomb, is always the same every time you play it. He wanted a game that is controlled only with a joystick. So some of your commands are moving the handle around, others are pressing and holding the fire button and moving the handle for certain commands. So we're going to press the fire button here. And
Hey,
we're in.
Vic, Matthew Turk in chat is asking, do you happen to know where those high score names came from?
Ooh, that came with my disc copy of The Living Tomb. We can go back again. Disc 1 load. 1989. So from Comprodyne. Those guys cranked out some good stuff.
Yeah. Is it anyone we know in the high score category?
Well, I think some of these are acronyms like Sir Torminen. I can guess who that is.
No, so they probably just filled them in with sort of placeholders intending to.
Sorry, I just blinked right through it. That's another hardware project I'm going to have is a load interrupt button in the P box so I can freeze the screen. See if this takes us back there. Hobgoblin, Gravewreck, Constrictor, Field Mouse, Gladiator, Spectre. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that came on the disc when I got
that looks like it's
none of those are mine.
Programmer set as default values.
Excuse me.
Looks like Victor had to step away for a moment, and it looks like he's being.
Okay, I'm back.
Demo mode.
Here's my box
Uh-oh.
of disc games.
Box of binders and discs.
Yes. And here's The Living Tomb. So,
when in doubt, break out the manual, right?
Well, I wanted to share with you. This is the Quentin Terminen collection, to where we have The Living Tomb. We have Minefield. And we got Warzone and Warzone 2. So he's put out a bunch of fine entertainment. These are all on floppy disks, but I've copied them over to my compact flash device here. So, here we go. So I started out drawing on the Living Tomb. Graph paper, I don't know if you can really see this. But here's the, it's not coming in very good. Let's try this one. On graph paper, drawing in.
So that's a map of the dungeon?
Yeah, the dungeon. And when I started out, I had this, drawn it by hand.
Sure.
And just a very simple, big squares, and a line between two squares is the doorway that connects them. And then this is big enough to actually put notes in and stuff like that. Also, I think all the there's booby traps in here, so you got to check for booby traps, because otherwise you'll step on a bunch of them. And then, but the maze, the tomb always starts out the same every time you play it. There's multiple levels. In his notes, Quentin said, I got tired of playing this. I can go through it in about 10 minutes now because I know where everything is, in which way to go, avoiding, dead end stuff like that. So we'll try this just as a amateur here. So I press the fire button. Okay, there's a dagger. Now Quentin says everything runs on the joystick. So how do you pick this up? I believe it's you push the fire button and pull backwards. And now you're at your menu.
Yeah,
Exit
so it's
menu.
Joystick menu driven, depending upon button and
Alpha lockup.
action.
Yeah. So notice this window. We've seen this kind of window in his games and in other programs. They have this kind of a window. So here's exit menu. He has his own stylized font here. Get item, drop, search, left hand, right hand, wear armor, climb up, climb down, examine, incant, quaff. So I guess you incant a spell and quaff a potion. Greet. You don't have to battle everything you find. So this is a little like, in the plot, a little like the big adventure game Legends, where not everything is immunicable, but you don't know until you wave hi to them. Inventory and control. So I'm going to press the fire button. I've moved the little cursor here on the left. Get item. I'm going to press the fire button. And now we'll go down to inventory. We have a dagger. Well, what's in our left hand? Quentin's left-handed. So you'll always have your main weapon in your left hand. Let's see now. We want to... I can see something up ahead of us. I'll press fire button, pull backwards. And I'll tell it to search. Now this is somewhat inconvenient. I sort of actually wish he had search a little easier to get at, because there's booby traps that you can't see. And I keep stepping on bear traps and things like that. It's rather pesky. Poison darts. Okay, you avoid traps. All right, so all I had to do was take one step forward, and I would have been hit by poison darts. So we'll press the joystick forward. We found padded armor. Press the fire button, press back, get item, taken. Okay, now we can go down to inventory. Dagger and padded armor. Okay. I think we have, that's in inventory, I think we have to tell it to wear the armor. Because there might be chainmail, there might be iron-plated armor, and this right window that says padded armor will get taller if you have different types of armor you've picked up. So you have to select which one you want to wear. Well, of course we want to wear the padded armor. Okay, let's look here. I just want to double check. Yeah, we got the dagger in our left hand. Okay, exit the menu. Now I can just barely see a dark green serpent there ahead of us. I'm going to press fire, search, no traps ahead, exit the menu, move forward one. Huh? A fabulous cache of rare spices is what we picked up. And a magic key. Get the item. Okay. And let's inventory again. So you got everything here in the joystick. There you go.
Yeah.
Now these menu things almost look like what they were doing in the missing.
So this programmer owns stock in a joystick manufacturing company.
Well, seeing how I'm doing this with the TI wired remote controller, you don't really need an arcade quality joystick. But this is beautiful. Look at the colors he's using for his menu and everything you've picked up so far. Exit the menu. Okay, we can go forward. Okay, you can just see a couple little black diagonal lines in the upper right and lower right of the screen. So we're in a corner. I'm going to move the joystick left. Okay, we've rotated left. So let me see where we start. Okay, so we start here, go to the corner, turn left, and we got 2 squares to go. Okay. No traps ahead. Go forward 1, go forward 2, turn left. He doesn't give you a compass direction, but looking at my map, I believe we're here in this corner. Ah, trap got us, a snare noose.
Well,
Doggone it. See what I get? The one time I don't check. No traps ahead. Yeah, okay. Inventory.
it's underfoot, not ahead.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find drop, search, left hand, right hand. Examine, incant. No, there's nothing that says what your health is here. Ah, there we go. So there's a square up there. That leads up to the next level. Let's search ahead. No traps ahead. Exit menu. 1, 2. Okay, you can see that square is right directly overhead. So press the fire button, pull back on the joystick.
Climb up, climb down. Huh?
Climb up. Ah, you don't have a coil of rope. So.
Oh, well. Something else to find.
Yeah. So I guess we have to find the coil of rope. And so this is just a demonstration of the Living Tomb by Quentin Taranaman. And I don't want to give away all the fun for it. But yes, this was the first level, the Living Tomb. And the second one, the Demon's Vault, is the second level. And I got it marked where the stairways are and where the and where the treasures are. I believe in this game, getting there is all the fun. So, like he says, there's no randomization in here. It plays the same every time. There's always a trap here. There's always a monster there. The coil of the rope is found always in the same spot, and the up and down is the same. But boy, just trying to map this out and find everything was a bit of a problem. So, we're down to control, exit menu, delays, sound. Well, I guess we're going to check out here. He doesn't let you quit easily. You feel the last of your life force draining from you. Your body falls to the ground in a heap of weapons and treasure, later to be scattered by the inhabitants of this living tomb. Better luck next time.
Oh well.
Press fire to see a report of your latest game. Okay. I am pressing fire. Have to press Q. Too bad.
Moves.
Thou art slain after 32 moves. Here's how you did. Score 102. You rank as a peon. You attained the following treasures: 0 gems, 0 jewels, 0 gold, 0 silver, but 102 rare spices. Press fire button to see how you did on the all-time roster. Okay, now we got the screen and we can study it at our leisure.
Yeah.
We have the top of, I did what, 102? So I don't even get to go up there as the field mouse. I'd have to do better than 250. But so at the bottom, peon, peasant, merchant, soldier, and the guy who wrote the game is the king. Okay, well, let's go to the next one. Alpha lockdown. Remove, Butterfingers, the virtual disk from the virtual drive. And our next one will be call mount in disk drive number 1, disk number 1125 on my compact flash card. Yes, I do have 1,125 virtual disks on this card. We'll step through here and do a directory of drive 1. Okay, so this is Warzone 2. I don't know where I got Warzone 1, but I see a load program there and a DF80 file. So the load probably loads the DF80 file that does all the grunt work and loads all these other different levels. RxB, tell it to load off of drive 1. Okay, Warzone 2, written and designed by Quentin Terminen, published by Copperdyne. Press down for play. Press for left scoring, right tap, function equals quit. Okay, here's the scoring. Okay, so here's your key on how you score on this. Let's see now. The tumbling hula hoop there's 100. A cross-shaped base is 300. A square base with a dome is 500. Oh, the dome is 600. The moving tank is 800. And the conical base is 5,000. Wow. Gee, it doesn't say how to exit out of here. There. Have to press the keyboard. We're not in there yet. Okay. Press down for play, left for scoring, right for top. Okay, here's the top players. So we can only imagine who these MGC, PPP, QMT. QMT, I can guess who that is. It's Quentin himself. All right, and we'll try Alpha lock off. Okay. Okay, I got shot down twice. Let's try that one more time. This time I'm going to avoid them. Okay, I shot that fortress and I got shot down.
Yeah.
That's about how I usually... I love these arcade games.
Quick play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like you're moving into its round when you get into range. It fires before you do, and you can't get out of the way.
There's a... Well, this is Warzone 2, and it's a lot tougher than Warzone 1. I wish he had a demonstration screen on this.
Yeah, it's always nice when games have some type of attractor demo mode.
So you might know already.
See what it looks like a little more.
Here's my binder for my compact flash cards. And I've got more than one compact flash card. This is card number 2. So I have here in numerical order all the volumes listed. It's what the compact flash calls the individual discs. So we've got everything in here from the Chicago User Group library to the Tiger Cub library in here. And then we have, everything else. Actually, I just saw something in here. I'm just going to try to find more of Quentin stuff. But let's try a programming utilities disk here. I'm not actually going to be doing the programming. There we go. But it's called Romsted's Utilities on disk number 791. So call, alpha lock. Remove the disk. Now, some people say you don't always have to remove the disk. You can load another disk on top of it. The only problem is if you load, the old disk might still be there. So if you load a single-sided disk on top of what was originally a double-sided disk, there might be artifacts there from the double-sided disk and it won't work. So I always clear it out by doing...
Yeah, I suspect that maybe more current versions of the firmware in the Nano PEB maybe fixes that issue, but I seem to recall the original documentation encouraged you to unmount.
I believe this is...
That's why they provided you with the command. I imagine if, it may still exist in current versions simply for compatibility, but
Well, call unmount clears the memory completely.
Yeah.
So let's see now. We have this is called Romstad's Utilities. It's a Tiger Cub disk TC1084. We've got documentation file. We've got stuff from Barry. We've got a DSR links. Oh yeah, we got LFX, Carl, Label One, Lima, links, Load Maker, not Load Maker, Loader, and Load XS. So let's. To do this, we need a text file reader. So on my utilities disk 3 in my Nano, I've got boot. So we'll press enter. So we can show a directory in disk 1 and press V to view and enter. The description of disks. Okay, this looks a little like. Now, here's a trick you can do with boot if you have an 80 column device. Press W for wide. Now we're in 80 column mode. And we can do the same thing. Display a file. There. Much neater. Of course, it's a lot smaller font because now you've squeezed the columns. However, how's that coming online? Can everybody read that? Description of disk files. All programs except DSR Link are written by Carl Romstad and are placed in the public domain. Send comments, programs, or contributions to him, and it gives his address in Ohio. Source files are documented and end with -s. Discover. I'm going to go back to 40 column. Discover. This is a utility written for cataloging disks to your choice of 2 sizes of labels or directly to a disk jacket. The letter doesn't work on my printer, but I can still print on standard paper and then cut and paste. Disk jacket option will print all 127 possible files on a surface the size of a disk jacket front. The other options to print one or more disk labels will even suggest the most appropriate label size, unless you indicate this doesn't matter. Output is in 3 columns, alphabetized vertically, and you can print unlimited copies. The user interface includes graphics and allows entry of data either manually or automatically from a triple tech card or the Geneve. DSR link. This device service routine link was originally supplied by TI and modified by John Clulow in 1982. Unlike the EA cartridge, XP does not include a DSR link, which is necessary for the screen dump programs on this disk, dump 1X and dump 2X. DSR link must be loaded first before other assembly programs, including LSave, so the DSR link equates greater than 2532. EA demo. See load EA5. Okay. ELF. Easy Label Factory. This is a label program which is destined for the ultimate designed for the ultimate ease of use and maximum utility. It allows multiple fonts per label and 6 different line spacings on 2 label sizes. Font selection is very clear and easy, and the program keeps you aware of which fonts are incompatible with each other. Text is typed into fields that make the line length for each font readily apparent. Text input also uses my multi-column except at assembly link. This and other links are embedded with LSave. I don't know if you ever used LSave from Barry Traver's Genial Traveler discs or from or from Bruce Harrison's assembly language graphic comp disk. Yeah, LSave lets you get trick assembly language routines and embed them in an extended basic program. Of course, once you put them in there, you can't really resequence the program because you'll destroy the embedded assembly. Okay, the source code is ELFXS. Labels may be saved to disk and later retrieved for editing or printing of unlimited copies. A catalog function is included that searches disks for you and displays all labels found. The catalog function allows you to highlight any or all labels which then may be printed automatically in batch fashion. You can even print multiple copies of a list of selected labels on a disk. Warning, you must be using the appropriate label size when retrieving labels saved previously. Labels are saved in the DV70 format, and several are included on this disk. Load, Freeloader, version 6. This colorful XP load program contains object code embedded by Todd Kaplan's ALSAVE program. The source code, load2x-s, and loader4x-x is included. There are lots of load programs around, but you're sure to like this one. It can shift directly to any page of a disk's programs, and selected files are highlighted using inverse video. A touch of one key selects any drive or it defaults to drive 1 after about 5 seconds. It can run XP or EA5 memory image programs, read DV80 files, delete and print catalogs. The read function uses a 40-column screen and will properly parse 80-column text. The delete file function, those are dangerous, uses Barry Traver's read and write sector routine to allow deletion, regardless of file protection. Yeah, Barry Traver in his Genial Traveler magazine on a disc had a series of tutorials called RAW, which was an acronym for read and write. And yeah, it was direct disk access right into the disk without going through cataloging it or looking at the file catalog on it. The print catalog function prints in a size that will fit up to 127 files in 3 columns on the front of a disk jacket. Freeloader 6 also restores standard colors and characters, except lowercase, prior to running an XP program. All functions are designed for ultimate ease of use. In addition to the capability to delete protected files and load EA5 programs, this version displays and highlights files faster than Freeloader 3. Although most keys work, use capital X or lowercase x for fastest selection of files prior to pressing enter to execute. Press aid for instructions. Load EA5, run EA demo to see how this program looks. The programs cataloged are not on this disk. This is a demonstration program. This is a super fast load program for disks of up to 18 EA5 memory image assembly language programs. Embedded with ALSAVE, the source code is loader4x-s. Thanks to Bud Wright for invaluable help with this. Uppercase program names, lowercase program names, and the disk file names must be placed manually in data statements as shown in the program comments. Use Control-A for spaces in the uppercase program names. Boy, that's... Comments also indicate color options available. This loader has self-relocating portions, allowing it to load EA5 programs regardless of their position in memory. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but yeah, some EA5 programs, they want to be in a specific spot of memory, not just the default. So that's nice. The load program described above contains the same EA5 loading code, but is slower since the disk catalog must first be scanned and the first sector of a selected program must be found and read to determine if the file is an XP or EA5 program. LoadMaker. This is one of my older programs, which scans a disk of XP programs, creates a load program for that disk. This load uses data statements automatically included so that it allows rapid execution of programs if the disk is booted. LoadMaker would need to be run again, however, if the disk contents are changed. Programs are selected using inverse video. End of file. Okay, so that was the docs. Let's look down at Barry. See what he has to say. Okay, that looks like a data file. Discover DSR links. Well, we could look at the source codes here. Device service routine link, modified by Texas Instruments, modified by John Kulo. Okay, this is pretty much what he said before, and it describes how it works. Here's the actual source code of what he's doing. As far as I know, nobody's ever had any problems with that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. There are tons of things involved in TigerCub files. And then, okay, so this looks like an actual data. So let's go down to, let's quit this, get back to RXB, and load the load program here. Now I think this load program is the load maker. Freeloader 4, drive number, well, let's do drive number 1. Well, see here, it's cataloging that disk because I didn't press drive 2 or 3. Okay, so here it is. I think it's like function in X. So we've got the inverted highlight. On what program do you want it to run? And I'll press enter on load. It's running disk 1 load. Yeah, I know we just came from there, but I wanted to see something here. 8, function 7. Okay, this is nice. It includes a function 7 function, aid. Digits, select the page. Arrows, select the file. Enter, runs an XP program, runs the A5 program, or displays a DV80 file. Control P prints a catalog. Well, we can't do it because I don't have a printer hookup. Control D deletes a file. This is very dangerous. I don't like I don't like those. Maybe it'll ask you if you're really sure you want to delete that file rather than going deleting file. It's like, no. Yeah. And function 8 catalogs a new disk. Okay, so I'll press the enter key. Let's tell it drive number 2. Here's yeah, these are the programs that I had made for our gem and missing link demos. Okay, so function 8. Function 8, let's do drive 3. Okay, since a few TIs are set up with 3 disk drives, but the Nano PEB is, I stash all my Nano PEB and utilities on drive 3. And usually they don't get touched by anything. So I've got Archiver, I've got Boot, I've got a simple basic catalog program. The Compact Flash, which is what the Nano PEB was originally called, Manager is in there. We have DM2000. We have an example program. Identifile is handy too. Now let's see if we can run Identifile from here. Identifile by Mike Dodd. I'm not surprised that final D in his name is corrupted there because we've been running a lot. And a lot of times you run a lot of assembly stuff one after another. They don't correctly clear out memory. But this was by JP Software and Palo Alto. This is still version 1. Press any key to continue. Okay, so now we can catalog a disk. Or we can configure the program. If we do configure program, what disks do you want to have available by default? Well, you look at the bottom there. This is set up for a hard drive. Yeah.
Or Winchester disk, yeah.
Yeah. The printer name, I was using a PIO printer rather than an RS-232. So you can press Control S to save the defaults. You can change your foreground background color. White font on a dark blue screen is about the most legible in the TI world. Back when we were using televisions for monitors. So go back, we'll catalog a disk. Let's catalog disk 1. All right, now what Identifile used to do in 80-column mode, maybe it does it on your Geneve, or if you've got a older TI set up with the TIM, the TI image maker, this would be an 80-column screen. And it did it so cleanly, I never noticed it, that it was an 80-column screen until I finally got onto a regular TI, and this is the screen you get. So yeah, everything would be stretched out. I don't know of I don't think you can go to widescreen with this, like with boot. But anyway, we're looking at disk 1, which is the Romsted's Utilities disks, and the file name @docs-5/90, 26 sectors, DV80, and it says at the bottom, this is the high point, text. It tells you it's a text file. The one called Barry is a data file for that label maker, but it doesn't know what that is. But so it's text, unknown, basic or extended basic program, text, basic or XP program. Carl and label unknown, those are data files. And so in this screen, you would do function X and move down 1 and then press enter. And now it's reading disk 2. And those are all going to come up with basic or extended basic programs. And catalog disk, move down 2 to disk 3, press enter. And it's cataloging my utilities disk. So archiver, yeah, it's an EA run program file. Compact Flash Manager. Here, notice right after Compact Flash Manager, you got CFMGR/O, EA or XB, load and run uncompressed. So that's a DF80 object file. So it identifies that. So a lot of times, Identifile is great. It might help you out on cataloging stuff. Okay. Select XB. Go back to drive 1 again. Okay, so this is the load maker. And like he says, if you ever change anything on this, you're going to want to run this program again. This is the source file for ELF. Deletes file calendar. Enter displays a DV80 file. Okay. Oh, it's DV70. There it is, yeah. That's the actual labels, data files. So if you go back up to like the DSR link and press enter, I'm holding the space bar down. Okay, so here's his built-in DV80 text file reader. We're not in boot now. This is the actual program off the load. I did a function 4 there. Oops. So, it's a demonstration of Romsted's utilities. That reminds me, there was something else I wanted to show on the XB256. I'm sure the crew over at CTIUG is jumping up and down like, hey Vic, demonstrate this or demonstrate that. And it's so limited on what I've done in the time I've had. Oh, XB256 just loaded the load program off of drive 1. I'm going to have to hold the key down when I select it here. There we go. Call help in XB256 has the same thing. Here's all sorts of different stuff where it tells you the new commands. The top line here, new calls resident in XB 2.8. Color, all foreground, background, replaces color 13, color FC. I don't know what those are. I haven't studied it. Crash, honk, beep, chime, nya, sounds. Font 1 to 60. There's 60 fonts built into that cluster of XB28, XB256. Font 713.2 for all set large caps, character 1. S font saves font to disk. L font loads font from disk. So you can load fonts from a disk that aren't built in. Save IV. Save program is IV254. This might not seem like much, but you can make a basic only program that is much bigger than you can load off of disk in extended basic in program format. Because extended basic, because it's a bigger operating system, uses a little bit of the high memory. So, or is it low memory? Well, in any case, it uses a little bit of your 32K memory. And so you can't load real big basic only programs in extended basic. Well, now you can, because with this operating system, as well as with the missing link, as well with rich RXB, all the flavors of that, you can load in a large basic only program and save it as an IV254 rather than basic. And the advantage of that is now you can run a basic only program in extended basic. And when I was going through stuff, I would occasionally run across very large basic only programs, usually stuff that Regina did in 99, her home computer magazine. She only had the console, and she prided herself on using every bit of memory that was available. So she had one that I liked. It was a educational puzzle type game called Name That Bone, where it would show different parts of the body, either the skull, the thorax, the pelvis, the legs, and it would identify the correct medical term for each bone, and you had to memorize that, and then you would have a test. It would highlight it. Well, it was a basic only program. It took a little while to load, and it took a little while to run. So I went like, oh, I'd like to do this in Extended Basic. Well, when I kept getting errors trying to load it off a cassette in Extended Basic, that's where I discovered, oh, it's a different format. So then I thought, well, I'll just load it into Basic and I'll delete a bunch of lines from it till it's small enough where I can save it as a small enough Basic file that Extended Basic to read. Except then I discovered that when you load in a huge Basic program, um, and you try to delete a line, it can take up to 1 minute to get the cursor back. So I went like, well, 20 minutes to delete 20 lines, this ain't going to work. And so it was later I discovered that there were other methods from changing a large basic only program to an IV254. So yeah, the save IV file name is a handy routine to have. Run file name. The name can be a variable. So if you want to run another program from one in XB 2.8 or XB 256, you can do that as a variable where you can have, a string. And then your data statement can have a whole bunch of program names depending on what somebody's selected. Run L1, chain programs. SSSD, double-side single density, double-side double density, double-side quad density, formats of disk and drive number 1. CAT, path name, prints a disk catalog. I don't know if it actually prints it or if it displays it. CLS all, closes all open files. Screen off, screen on, turn screen off and on. Sprite off, sprite on, stop, start, sprite, motion. Quit off, quit on, disable or restore the quit key. Buy or quit, reset from a running program. New, can be used in a running program. XB, XXB, XB256, etc. These select graphics mode. Add N for files for TML, TMLGA, UCA for colors plus files. Screen 2, mload, loads and runs an EA5 file. Mode must be equal 1. msave, file name, start address, number of bytes, saves memory in program image format. Move, mode from address to address, number of bytes, moves a block of memory, 4 modes. VDP to VDP, VDP to CPU, CPU to VDP, CPU to CPU. I think they got everything covered there. Peek V, poke V, peek G, syntax same as peek, init G, call init with GPL link and DSR link. You could do a call init from a program. You don't have to do it manually before. Wait, oh, here, we ran into this earlier. Delay, 6 equals 1 second. Yeah, we did that time delay earlier. Restore numeric variable. Fast assembly loaders from mini memory can use references and load compressed code. Up-down keys are active in editing mode, can define color sets from 0 to 31, can run basic programs using character sets 15 and 16. So in regular TI Extended Basic, your character sets 15 and 16 is where they put the sprite definition table. So Jim Peterson wrote a little program called BXB that would reset the sprite definition table back to character set table for Extended Basic programs, trying to run basic programs that use all 16 character sets. Fast random generators from TI Basic. Load, set color font. Oh, here's your color codes. So it gives you this. Now, this is all the help file in the GEM system. So color codes, character sets, display font number 1, and press key for ASCII code, spacebar to continue, press number to convert. And that's it. That's the help file in there. So, well, we're going to look for we're going to look to see if I could find any more of Quentin Tarantina's games. I know I've got them in here, but I didn't specifically go through here. Okay. 1172. Load in a different OS. And let's get a our friends over at the Italian TI user group have been busy, and they've uploaded a whole bunch of games to the IUG user site. So here's the first one called Aardvark. On their user site, it's nice because it's got the documentation. It usually has a manual or at least instructions of how to play. So you have it in French on the left and English on the right. My accent's terrible, so I'll stick to English. The goal of the game is to eat the food before being eaten. Release the alpha lock and press a key. Okay. Okay. So, my on-screen character is the pink mouse in the lower right corner. I think you can move him 5 turns. And then the anteater has a turn. Yeah, so rather than the regular game you're probably familiar with, Anteater, where both of these work at the same time, this is sort of turn-based game. And you don't know where that anteater's tongue is going to go. Whoa!
Got dragged. What is the little black object at the end of that?
That's your food. I'm sorry, I didn't describe. The upper left part of the screen is how many piles of food you've got. And the upper right screen is how many ants you have. So the goal of the game is to get from the lower right part of the screen to the upper left and get the food without being eaten.
Oh, so you're the ant, not the aardvark.
Right.
I didn't realize that.
I'm moving the ant, and you can move them 5 squares, and then it's the aardvark's turn. And his tongue is only so long, but it seems to go a pretty good distance, so it seems to be like try to stay some distance away from.
That was a near miss. Does he seem to extend in any particular pattern? I haven't been paying that close of attention.
I don't know if there's any pattern this aardvark uses, or if it's purely random.
Yeah. And then can you move in a reverse direction? Do you always have to advance?
Well, of course I can move in a reverse direction. Phew. Okay, now there's one less food in the upper left screen, and my ant has reappeared at the bottom, in the bottom right. So it doesn't really say what your score is, at least not at this point. But okay, Aardvark by Patrick Pelletier, 99er version from Frank Jenkins. Okay. This was what, 99er magazine?
I guess so.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you could modify this if you want. If you want to have the ant be a different color that might be a little easier to see. It's catalog drive 1. Some of these I don't know what they are anymore. Advance. Let's select this. Oh, I don't know what that was. Yeah, the IUG came up with a whole bunch of programs, and rather than putting one program on each disk, I just combined them all. Oh, okay. Barrage. Okay, you can play 1-player, 2-player cooperative, or 2-player competitive. I think this is sort of like Missile Command. So you move the little cursor. And try to save your city. Okay. So as you move the cursor from one side of the screen to the other, you can do the old, lay down the barrage. And that's how these arcade games usually go for me. But yeah, so this is nice. It's I could probably use a roller controller on this. I got one of those roller balls. Okay, so that's Barrage.
Like the original Missile Command, arcade Missile Command, right?
Uh-huh. Oh gosh, I remember seeing people paddling that ball so fast. You thought it was going to catch on fire. Okay, as Barrage. Now the clue there on what operating system that was in was it was a 33 sector, and there's 2 files, 1 letter apart. Barrage E and Barrage F. And the first one's 33 sectors, and the second one, so this advance, boy, that's a puzzle what that one is. But it's 49 sectors, so okay. Well, we'll go down here to Battlestar and select Extended Basic to run it. Again, this looks like another one from 99er magazine. Hmm. Yeah, Earth was destroyed. Play again, yes, no. I wonder if this... Oh, I'll use the keyboard for this one. There you go. So you got to press fire once to hit the missile, and the second time to get the attacking craft. I'll deliberately leave the attacking craft there. Oh, there, he finally showed up. So the object of this is you've got the space outpost in the middle, and you've got an attacking craft at the 4 points of the compass.
Wow.
And that blowed up real good. Battlestar. Oh, by our old buddy William K. Balthrop. Yeah, he wrote a ton of programs for 99er magazine back in the day. And I think he did an article on structured programming, on how to write stuff correctly.
Sure.
And he had his own distinctive style in programming. Quite a guy. So yeah, this disc of games from the IUG is there was Battlestar. I try to cover a variety of subjects here, like, games and the utilities disc, like ROM stats, and new operating systems, the GEM system, and the missing link. I wish my missing link file worked. Okay, Bouncer by Greg Kane, 83 extended software, produced in UK by Timeless Software. Alpha lock off. Press 1 to use joystick 1, 2 to use joystick 2. I've got joystick number 1 here.
Is this a Qbert-like game?
Yeah.
With like arrows rather than
Yeah.
Coiled snakes bouncing around with you.
Well, the only thing there is neither of my joysticks. Oh.
Better move.
Well, sometimes you have to do the routine on this kind of a game is hold the controller at a 45. No, it's a true diagonal. These controllers have been around the block a couple times. I bet you with a better joystick, this game would be a lot more responsive. But yeah, you've got a Hopper Cubert type game here. Instead of having Slinky and Coily chase you around, you've got the obstacle of these arrows going back and forth across the screen.
Pretty.
Okay. Extended software. Okay. I think one more from this disc. So what do we have? Cavern Joy, Commando 50, F Route, First Last, Frank E. I'll just do this. Yes, TI doesn't have the spinning disc, so sometimes you wonder if it's... Ah, okay. So what do we have here? Cavern Quest. Oh, okay. Plus, you can always go back to the Italian News Group website and look up these games and get the instructions on how to play, who wrote it, who did the conversion, various other things like that.
It's going to be one of those, huh?
Yes. Could swear I pressed the fire button at the same time I did this.
Seems to predict your death before you actually do anything.
Yeah, before your character moves. I don't like this game.
Needs a little better collision detection, I guess.
No, maybe the operator needs a little better collision detection.
A little better hand-eye coordination, too, doesn't hurt.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I love these games, and
And then, of course, who knows, if you're running it on a stock console, maybe performance would be a little different, too.
well, you know, you can always adjust the speed and the delays and everything.
Richard Gilbertson has commented that he's been watching since you started.
Well, I could run that demo, but yeah, he's the one who told me I got bad VDP memory in my console.
I suppose that's always a possibility.
So what we have here is the Tiger Cub nuts and bolts demonstration. Now this is all extended basic and extended basic. There's no assembly in here. These are all statements that have rather high line numbers that have been saved in merge format. so you can merge them into your program, because it's unlikely you're going to have 20,000 lines in your program. So all these displays you can perform with a call statement. It's a call interlude. You saw how the letters broke away there. That's what I did on my April Fool program. 100 subprograms in merge format. Here, if you want to divide the screen into sections, having text appear from the middle out to the side. If you want italics.
So how large is the actual merge program, and does it have any specific requirements to be able to use it?
No, you would. I think all the programs are named in very apparent.
Right, but what I'm saying is, do you need XP? Does it run under?
Oh yes. You would need
Does it run
extended
under anything
basic.
particular? Does it require 32K memory expansion? Because those are always questions for us newbies. That it's like, oh, this is a cool program.
Yeah.
Where do I need to run it? And then you realize, oh, I don't have that.
Okay. It runs an extended basic. Or does it?
Or is it EA5 or something? But
no, I think it's a basic it'll run in.
Right, if it's a merge program, it's probably going to be some form of basic, most likely.
Yeah, basic, or I'd say basic or extended basic. I've used a couple of these in my work for that display screen that you see on the Chicago User Group. Is a program he has called Big Font, and that's a bigger than average font that gives the TI color bar screen I generate. It's about a pixel off from the actual color bar screen. There, large character is one of the subprograms I needed. And he redefines fonts. Yeah, in merge format, you would write a small program, or like these, and you would go save disk 1, program name, comma, merge. And it's a different structure. Then now you have your own program where you want to do something, and then you want to call one of these save merge programs. It blends it right in. It's not like an old disk one where it steps on it.
Two separate basic programs and merge them into a singular.
Yeah.
And one calls functions or subprograms of the other.
And here you go.
I've dealt with that a lot on other platforms, in particular. Modifications to like BBS software was common on the particular software I was using. Use that methodology that you would merge lines of code into your stock software and extend the functionality.
Yeah, I can actually show the other nuts and bolts programs. This is the demonstration of it. So the actual program here. You see, it standard. It lists all the calls you're going to want to do that are in addition to Texas Instruments built-in calls. Everything has to be listed at the beginning of the program, and then the actual statement at the end. Call delay, call border, display at, call chameleon. Here we go. List. I listed this program line 20,000 and up. So here's the sub program for large character. So it starts out with the word sub and then the actual name that you're calling. So the computer will look for that subroutine. And here it's redefined all the characters, and there it does a restore. Hang on. This pesky guy. There we go. No, I guess that's it. Is a large character. Okay. So that's nuts and bolts demo disk, where the load program will run demo 1, 2, 3, and then it'll do demos off of disk 2, demos off of disk 3.
Sure.
But to answer your question, we'll remove this disk. And let me get the nuts and bolts. Okay, do a directory. Okay, and here's the actual programs on the nuts and bolts disk number 2. Accept dump, alpha check, amount, arc sign, background, backward. And these are all DV80 or DV163 merge files. So let's look at something easy to remember like backward. Let me get the caps back on. Okay, now we don't have a program in memory.
Right.
All we've done is merged into this
Let's go
program.
through that program
Yeah.
and read it and
Yes.
bring it into the existing program space.
And here it is.
Yeah.
There's the backwards, I guess that's backwards text. Sub backward, it'll print your text string backwards. And so it's at a high line number 20830. It's a subroutine. Name is backwards, so that's how you would do it. Call backward. And then it would explain how to do it. So that's it. It ain't much.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Useful way of doing things.
Now to explain how to do it, let's do directory. Data load. I think this will print this out, this load program will print out these DV80 files. So let's take a peek at what it is. And look at it without actually running it. Ah, okay.
Okay, so you can use this to, you can probably do the merge and then print it backwards or.
I think we could run it safely. No.
Yeah.
Use the print all program. Oh, so you got to press the space bar to get the next line. Print the documentation, select condensed print 4, columns 28 character width 70. The 4 files nb1 doc/1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, now it's all set to print. It tells you what printer, and it's Epson compatible. And okay, so we're going to quit this here. I'll go back to my utilities disk. Go load boot, which is an EA program. Show directory of disk 1. Look at the first docs file, press V to view, enter. Okay, this is deliberately set up as a 28 column screen so you could read it. Or no, I think it's set up to print 2 columns on a page. So here's your, says what it is. Okay, so here's your first, on the nuts and bolts disk number 1, big character. The format of it, big character, parenthesis, your message string, CH, R, and C, where message string is the text to be displayed, CH is the lowest character to be redefined, R and C are the starting row and column, will slowly display text of up to 14 characters in heavy and large letters. Allow 4 characters below ASCII 144 and above the ASCII of any character in that message string for each character message string. I guess it's redefining other characters to make these big characters. Will also enlarge previously redefined characters and be used together with slant, Mongolian, etc. Oh. Example 100. Call big character TI-99-4A. Big character 2. Character face will redefine the lowercase characters. Inverse character, large character, lowercase. Mongolian. Yeah, that was wild. Russian, if you want a Russian-looking font. Scrunch gives you tiny little letters. Slant makes them metallic. Yeah, so you've got all the descriptions here. You've got the nuts and bolts demonstration disk that I showed. You have the actual merge programs on another disk. And then you have these instructions on a third disk. So he was pretty comprehensive in teaching you. And I printed all this out for myself. Colorful text. Columnizer will equalize the number of decimal places and will write justified by aligning the decimals. Make a column. Crawl. This is what Hal Shanafield wanted. Was he said he always wanted to have his name go across the screen. So call crawl.
His name in lights rather than on a post office wall.
Yeah. In your picture too. Crawl. Call crawl. S, C string, and R will scroll the text, the C string, across the screen from right to left in row R at speed S. Call crawl 10. This is a demonstration of this crawl program. Press any key, and 12. Oh yeah, if you want letters fading gradually. Yeah, so this is...
all sorts of little interesting visual effects and formatting.
So it's, his attitude was, why reinvent the wheel?
Sure.
You know, if you want to make something nice and flashy for your program,
yeah, the idea is you write a bunch of functions that perform what you need them to do, and you reuse them. I mean, that's the thing that people still claim they want today: code reuse. Whether or not anyone actually reuses any code other than the core operating system functionality remains to be.
Well, what do you mean?
Or the other problem is people like to extend things away. They decide they don't like the interface below, so they Brand new interface on top.
Well, as Hal says, with the TI, you don't like the color, you don't like the way something is, you can go in the program, you can change it, make it what you want. On modern computers, if there's not a button on the screen that you can click with the cursor of your mouse, you're stuck.
Well, that's from the user's perspective. From the developer's perspective, it's still the same way. And unfortunately, sometimes modern developers go a little, out of their way they fall into the pit trap of not invented here.
Uh-huh.
I guess I will remind you, it is now 3:51.
Okay.
So we're approaching the top of the hour. You might want to think about if you have anything else you want to show off before 4 o'clock rolls around.
Time flies when you're having fun.
To that.
Well, here is our meeting screen. I'll show you the behind the scenes on this. And here you can see the screen being built. Something the folks at home don't usually see.
Yeah.
Is it's already up. And you can see how it's Jim Peterson's routine there is making the small fonts larger. And then we have the second screen and the first screen. So doing a function 4 is my personal notes, edit lines 230 and 1490 for date and attending members. And then here's my definition, drawing the state of Texas. And then display at line 10-7, row 10, column 7, ChicagoTIUG 99.4a. And then the users group. Now you might wonder why there isn't a comma in the word users where there correctly should be. I've already used that to define the state of Texas or something else. So here we can redefine the line 240. And here, I'll try to put a comma in here. We'll do insert and, well, not comma, apostrophe.
Yeah.
Okay, now if I try to run it.
And now we're going to get a weird character.
It looks okay. And
now it's a backtick.
Until we do a color definition.
Yeah, no, it's nothing because it's now.
And that character set is
your graphic.
Is a background color or something like that. Right. So that's why there is not a. But see, it shows up again in text mode, but it doesn't show up in graphics mode. So I'll just list it. Yeah, when I first did this, it was and I'll have to find that again for our April meeting, is display the color bars. I just used the VChar statements and put characters in there until I ran out. And then I had to backtrack and go to the lowercase characters to finish the color bars, because I had to leave the capital color set. There we go. Call large char. And that's where that nuts and bolts program is. Redefining the graphics. My color statements. You can see the color sets I used. Call key. That's to go to the next screen. And here we are getting up near 1400. The second screen. Brought to you by. And here's where I edit. And here I remmed out our website address. Okay, and here's Peterson's subroutine, sub-large character. So I didn't have to do that. He already did it. I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. A long time ago, I heard that somebody had a routine. Oh, there's a way to do the TI color bar screen, but it's like 1 pixel off. So here we get a restore and an end to the subroutines. So yeah, this large character, I think they're about 1 pixel short of the actual TI color bar screen.
Close enough. Especially if it gives you more room for.
And there's the actual TI color bar screen. Actually, I think that large character is a pixel bigger.
Yeah.
Darn. Well, we'll get to our American flag and music.
Okay.
So signing off, this was the February 5th, 2022 Chicago TI Users Group meeting. Send comments, suggestions, any particular programs you want to see demonstrated. And if I'm not all thumbs, we'll have it for you.
Okay, well, I guess we're signing off. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll have to check the YouTube chat to see what